Yeah, and this is why I wouldn't recommend going in that route, because I'll just simply say that it requires the cooperation of the worship team and of the media department and everyone involved to have a mindset of wanting to create a better sound environment. Because one thing that I think people are refusing to recognize is that anything that we do is going to involve some form of suffering as we try to persevere to produce better or try to work towards perfection. That if we want to say, I want to go through a route that is convenient, I want to go through a route that is avoiding suffering, then if you're trying to avoid suffering and trying to avoid going through things that are challenging, as you know, as the world has this idiom, it has this saying that anything worth obtaining doesn't come easy. Nothing worth having is easily obtained. So this is something that we need to really develop in our mindset, that we have to be willing to accept that what we want to achieve, and if we want to achieve something that is better than what we have, it's going to be more challenging than what we have currently. And if we're not willing to go through that challenge, and we want to stick to avoid, like I said, suffering and have convenience, we're not going to improve. So that's one of the greatest challenge I'm recognizing, is that we're not all on that same page and all in that same mindset of trying to create a better sound environment. We're looking for things that just make it easy and convenient for us. But to create a better sound environment, we have to remove feedback as much as possible and eliminate those feedback hotspot zones, because those are areas which are not beneficial. There's no benefit of having feedback. And the more convenient we try to make things, the more inefficient, underproductive we are making ourselves to be if we go that route. So this is why you see all the top performers out there, they're moving towards the direction of eliminating feedback with new technologies that are made available. So if we are not harnessing this technology, we want to go back to, just that old way of doing things with older technology. It's convenient to have PA speakers in the room and not have to wear anything on your head. It's convenient to walk around in shorts and a t-shirt. But if the pastor has to wake up in the morning to dress and wear a suit, even in the summertime, to be preaching on stage, and he doesn't walk on stage with like as they call, like a muscle shirt, shorts with thongs, you don't see someone walk on stage preaching like that. It's not proper presentation. So it's inconvenient, it's uncomfortable to have to wear a big full suit on when you're preaching. And it's not like you're going to track and field, even though most of the time people who are preaching are basically doing track and field on the stage. They would probably want to wear something more comfortable and more athletic to be able to move around more freely, but they're not doing that. So there's a pain involved there. But if we, as musicians and sound engineers say that, we want, let them go through all the heartaches, let them go through the suffering, they can go through the suffering, but I don't have to suffer. If we have that mindset, it's going to be a problem, because now there's division, there's no unity. And we have to understand that anything worth having in life will have some form of suffering. And nothing worth having comes easy. And if we're not willing to go through those challenges to be able to obtain better than what we currently have, then that's a problem right there from the beginning. So we should always strive to produce better quality sound, to produce cleaner sound, to produce better. And that's why new technologies are being made available. This is why they've created in-ear monitors, where in-ear monitoring never used to exist. Now it does exist, because one of the objectives that founded the idea of in-ear monitoring is because PA speakers cause feedback. And this is what I explained in previous videos, that there's no way around it. The law of sound and how sound is designed to work with sound pressure decibel. An input and an output, if they're too close together, you're going to get feedback, and there's no way to eliminate that. And they've tried to be creative in the past with designing different polar patterns and different microphone waves for different applications to be used so that they can try to reduce the feedback as much as possible so that the sound can be clear on stage and you won't have limitations to volume levels. You won't have limitations to the equipment you use. And now it's improving even better with what is now made available with the technology that's being released of in-ear monitoring. But if we say, no, I don't want to have anything on my ears. I just want to be free. I don't want to be wearing anything. I don't want to be carrying anything. Well, it's kind of ironic because now you're saying, well, I want to be able to hold a mic, but I don't want to be able to hold headphones. So to me, those mentalities don't make sense, because the moment you're giving someone a hands-free mic, they start complaining and say, no, I want to be able to hold a microphone. I don't want to be having this microphone where I'm not able to hold it. But when you say wear something on your ears so that you're able to hear yourself, just as you're holding something to be able to project your audio, they say, no, I don't want to wear anything on my ears. So I can't really understand the mentality behind that, because if they could understand that it produces cleaner sound and it eliminates feedback, because now you're not dealing with having to add an extra projected audio source in the room. It improves the sound. It improves the quality. Isn't that what we're all trying to strive for? You know, like I say, a diamond, which is just a general rock. If you found a diamond in the earth, you're not going to value it. But the moment you start slicing and cutting and chiseling and shaping that diamond, it starts to become beautiful. And growth comes through pruning. So because of that, if we're not willing to be chiseled, and being chiseled is painful. If you can talk and ask a diamond how it feels to be sliced up on all corners into pieces just to look beautiful, it would probably tell you it's very painful. So this is part of the pain that we have to go through, the long suffering that we have to go through. And if it's a little bit of extra suffering to wear headphones on your ears, like, I don't see anyone complaining out in public when they have to wear the what is it called? The AirPods, the Apple AirPods. People are excited. If you went and go and handed an AirPod to someone, and here's the irony of it. If I was to go to Apple and pay for these new AirPod Pro or any kind of Apple headphones, and I go and give it to someone as a gift, they would just be ecstatic. They would be excited and say, wow, thank you. And they'd want to wear them right away and listen to their music. So we're okay to wear headphones if we listen to our music, but we're not okay to perform with it. Now, how does that make any sense? And if it's designed and created and invented for that purpose of making better sound and eliminating feedback, why aren't we participating with it? So this is why I'm not buying into the mentality or people pushing things in an opposite direction and saying, no, we don't need this. Because if you see people and professionals who are using it and you're saying, oh no, what they're doing is wrong, that to me doesn't make sense, because there's a reason they're doing it. So with that being said, that's why I'm not really supporting any idea of going in an opposite direction when when people are working and sweating and toiling to create solutions to solve these problems, and you want to just ignore these problems and then just follow whatever way is convenient and comfortable for you. That's not trying to make things collectively beneficial to everyone else, because we're not here to serve ourselves. We're here to serve others. And if it creates better sound and it isolates the sound so that way it's not cross-interfering with the sound that other people hear, you should be more concerned about how is sound being produced for everyone else, more than what it is for me. Like what I'm doing on stage, how am I benefiting other people? Because everything we do is for the edification of the body. So how am I edifying other people? But we are so self-centered and so self-focused that, no, how is it benefiting me? How is it convenient for me? And because of that, that's why I'm standing firm and I'm saying, no, I'm not buying into this. And people are pushing in the opposite direction. They're trying to bring that selfish agenda into structuring things and bringing the world into structuring things into the ministry. And although I stand by that standpoint of obedience is better than sacrifice, and I see it head on from a far direction, even though I will still be obedient rather than sacrifice, that doesn't mean I should just zip my mouth and keep quiet and say, okay, well, I see this, it's not good, and I'll just do it anyways. I'm not going to be like Aaron where I create a calf because all the people are pressuring me to create an idol for them. No, I'm going to stand firm and say, no, this is not right. But if this is what you want, I'm not going to be the one to stop you from doing what you want, because God created that liberty. So that's basic, but I always have to, so that way it's released off of me. I have to make it known so that if you end up going in that route, or if anyone ends up going in a route, and I knew ahead of time that I don't advise in this direction, and they end up going that, it's not on my hands, because I've already said it ahead of time. So whatever decision is being made, then it's now their issue of facing that result. And they can't come back to me and say, well, you know, I went this route and now there's problems and this is happening and I need you to fix it. Because I've laid it out to you before you made that decision. But it's not saying that, okay, because you've gone in this direction, you now are realizing what I was saying, and you want to change and go back to the beneficial direction, then I'm not going to say, well, I'm not going to help you with that. Of course I'm going to help. But again, it puts a frustration when I put all of my time and focus to assist on something which is beneficial, and then that assistance is initially rejected and then later accepted. It's like I'm doing double work. And if I'm doing double work, that's not productive, that's not efficient. So it's creating unnecessary repetitive work rather than moving forward and running a race to grow. And that's where it can be frustrating. So, but even though those things might happen, and that could be where I could be facing, you know, the long suffering on my end, but it's something we have to move past, because even though I'm carrying the weight of people not wanting to move forward, and I'm having to carry them with me to move forward, there has to be a time where one person is not carrying the burden of so many people, but we are all carrying each other's burdens, trying to benefit and edify and grow one another. We have to come to that same unity of wanting to strive for what is beneficial for everyone, and not just what is preferred by me. So that's what I had to say, and thank you for listening.